Hello, my friends. Hello, hello. How are we doing today? Friday, March 14th. I myself personally am not working at my job today. I'm actually going on a little trip out of town for the weekend. But before I do that, I just wanted to go over gold and how it finally did the deed. It finally touched $3,004. Okay? And this is beautiful. This is beautiful. You see how terrible I am at artistry? I almost failed art class in high school. You see how terrible I am at artistry? And yet, as horrible as I might be, my good friends, look at what we had drawn before anything played out. That is like what comes if you get to be in tune with the markets. And if you're watching the markets every day, learning your craft, learning what works for you. This is absolutely gorgeous. This is another reason why I like making these videos, is because it's almost a selfish reason, to be honest with you, because it helps validate my ideas and my way of thinking, whether I'm on the path to success or not. Okay, simply by having something there out in the open and then putting it out there, hey, this is looking like a probable scenario here. And then later in the future, coming back to it and saying, wow, that actually did play out. And sure enough, we had drawn it gone up, and last time we made a video, we were talking about how, okay, if it breaks that trend line, it's probably going to go down. Okay, real simple trend line. But then I mentioned a lot of times when something breaks a trend line, okay, what it likes to do is it likes to grab that money, because there's people that are betting down. So what did it do? It broke that trend that we had drawn, and just like I said, this ain't I said so, it's just funny how it works out that way. It ripped up, okay? Now, it didn't rip up right here where we thought it was going to rip up. It took a little later, but it still ripped up and made another high. And that $3,000, such a key psychological number, because since 4 or 5 months ago, all you've been seeing is, gold's all-time high, 3K, here we come, 3K, here we come. And there's so much momentum to get it to 3K, okay? There's a lot of interest. And in my mind, I said, okay, we could probably hit 3K. But now what? All right, we just hit 3K. Let's buy gold. No! What are you doing, bruh? That's what they want you to think. Do you see what I'm saying? That's how they want you to, that's how they programmed you your whole life to think that way. Okay? They programmed you to buy stuff when it's at all-time highs. So all these geezers who've been holding gold for decades can finally sell to you. All these baby boomers that have been buying gold their whole life, and they're all retiring now, their portfolios are looking gorgeous if they're selling off all their gold right now. Okay? Who are they selling to? To you, because you saw online 3K gold such a big deal. Okay, now what happened as soon as we hit 3,000? Look what happened. Zoom in a lot. Look at that. We go up, push up, hit that 3K, and as soon as we hit that 3K, boop, immediately, within 1 hour, it went underneath 3K. So you were up. The price of gold was above $3,000 for less than an hour, bruh. Okay? There's nothing to get excited about here, all right? It doesn't interest me. Now, what interests me, in particular, how I trade, is potential for shorts. Why? Because gold has played out to one of my scenarios where it had ripped up and took out some liquidity. So now that it's done that, it's essentially, okay, let's get rid of some of that garbage. Now that it's done that, it's essentially, all it's doing is essentially just testing that trend line that we had drawn from the other side of it, from underneath. Do you see how that works out? That's another thing one of my, I learned from one of my mentors a few years ago, is the testing of trend lines from either side, okay? So now that it's testing the trend line, you're testing a trend line from underneath. You're gonna buy that? Are you really gonna buy that? I'm not. I'm gonna sell that. I'm gonna sell that. And if price makes a little dip down and comes back up and tests it again, good. I'll sell that too. But the only thing that's going to get me to buy is a bounce off of a trend line, okay? I'm never going to buy a rejection from a trend line, okay? That's not going to happen. That's not the time for me to buy. That's the time for me to sell. So gold makes some beautiful moves, absolutely gorgeous. And New York is doing its thing today. It's such a whack job on Friday, the sessions. I have kind of, not only have I come to the realization that Thursdays are not necessarily the best days for me to be trading. I've had some experiences with Thursdays. It's just kind of a personal thing. In my book, it's kind of a no-go. But honestly, New York session as a whole has never really been my key thing. I've said that several times. I'm not a fan of the New York session for whatever reason. In New York, I usually have decent positions at the open and at the close, but anything during the middle of the day in New York trading session, it's just a strange time to me in the markets. I feel like it's just the market manipulators. They just say, okay, the algorithm's like, okay, easy money. The Americans with all their money, they're in the markets during that time, so they're putting on heavy positions, okay, and we can easily just, whiplash the small, like the 5-minute time frame and the 1-minute time frame, the real minute price action. We can just whiplash it back and forth and punish everybody. But gold is making some beautiful moves. We love gold. Gold was a beautiful, beautiful trade for us in the past. Going to start getting very interested in opening up some possible short positions here on gold. I love everybody. I hope everybody has a great weekend. And next week, we're going to be at it, grinding hard. It's going to be a good week. And I will talk to everybody later. Peace.